a game of one down man, a contest where Republican candidates for president try to outdo one another in the realm of how far out there can we get? Consequences be damned. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, we don't know if he's going by DeSantis or DeSantis today. He has a plan that is so radical, it would essentially tear down and rebuild, I guess is the word to use, the DOJ and the FBI from the ground up. From Real Clear Politics reporting on this plan, quote, the governor has privately told advisors that he will hire and fire plenty of federal personnel, reorganize entire agencies, and execute a disciplined and relentless strategy to restore the Justice Department to a mission more in line with what the founding fathers envisioned. But his ambitions go beyond bureaucratic restructuring. He wants to physically remove large swaths of the DOJ from the District of Columbia, including FBI headquarters. Real Clear Politics is first to report. Frank's back with us. Frank, this isn't about a study in where the institution is strongest and best positioned to protect the country. This is part of a frontal war on the rule of law. And Ron DeSantis is only waging it because Donald Trump is way ahead of him in the polls. And he sees this as one of the necessary pillars to winning a Republican nomination. What are the dangers in the real world to the FBI itself?
Yeah, I think this is an important time to ask, should I care about this? This sounds like a lot of political rhetoric about smashing the FBI to pieces and remaking it in the image of Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump. I spent a lot of time thinking about the future of DOJ and the FBI if indeed people like this were to get into power. And the answer to the question, why should I care, is to look at what the FBI has done for you, your community in this nation, just in the last year. Just in the last year, the FBI has arrested over 20,000 violent criminals and child predators. They've dismantled 400 violent gangs in your communities. In the last 5 years, they've recovered over 8,000 child victims of sex trafficking. The cybercrime folks, they handle in the last 5 years over 1 million complaints from citizens of cyber fraud that they've been victimized by, involving $10 billion in fraud. If you want that to go away, right? Because Ron DeSantis is essentially saying there really wouldn't be an FBI as you know it. There's proposals that he's mentioned to do away with the director's role, the position of FBI director. Think about what that means. It means that this idea that we have a neutral FBI, that the director serves for 10 years, straddles administration so that he or she cannot be removed for political whim, that would go away. And then essentially with no director, the FBI would then work for who? The politically appointed Attorney General of the United States. And so we would literally have a police agency that serves at the whim of a political appointee who works for Ron DeSantis or Don Trump or you name the authoritarian figure. It's a scary, scary prospect. And then there are even discussions going on, and I have a source who has told me that papers have been asked for way back when, both post 9/11 and even during the Clinton-Gore administration, there was much work being done about whether we should split the FBI into two different agencies, domestic intelligence and security agency, and then a criminal law enforcement agency, because the FBI wears two hats. Think about a domestic spy agency that answers to Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump.
No, I mean, I really think, and this conversation is going to have to carry over to Monday, but I really think if we're covering Ron DeSantis' plan for the FBI, we have to make sure we're, if destroying the FBI is the answer he's offering, what is the question he's asking? Because you're absolutely right. Why would you want to get rid of the agency that protects Americans from all those threats? What is the question Ron DeSantis is asking if the answer is to dismantle the FBI and put it under a political appointee? And by the way, just as a fact check, it is currently under the leadership of Chris Christie's former attorney, Donald Trump's handpicked director, Christopher Wray. To be continued for you and me, though, Frank. Thank you so much for spending the hour with us. We are so grateful to have that much of your time. A quick break for us. We will be right back.